didn't have a lot of money as a kid, I decided to start selling sweets, as every young entrepreneur does. You know, I had a hustler mindset, so I started rhyming, and then I built a passion for music, and then I ended up just making music because music was my escape. So I decided to drop out of university after 2 years. Wasn't for me, and then fulfill my journey on creating an NFT project. So what losing £1 million taught me is not to trust anybody. No matter how they may tell you that, you know, they have good intentions. At the same time, when you conduct business with people, make sure you always do your due diligence. Believing in yourself. You know, my nan poured into me a lot. She gave me a lot of self-belief. Without her, I don't think I would be able to conduct myself in the way that I do now. And then when you're consistent, the only reason for you to be consistent is based on the level of discipline that you have. So hi everybody, my name's Amari Lewis-Simpson. I'm 27 years old, born and raised in Buckinghamshire, also lived in London, and now I'm currently based out in the Middle East, Dubai. So it all started off being in school, secondary school in fact. Don't come from a wealthy background, but I envisioned myself being able to make money based on my peers and the people around me. I already knew that there was consumers within my school. There was supply, I provided demand. So I would go to, you know, the nearest corner shop, I'd get packs of Lucozades. The whole pack is about £1. I'll sell each Lucozade for £1, make a £5 profit. On top of that, do the same things with sweets. Then what I realized is that the teachers didn't enjoy me doing that. So they said to me, Amari, we no longer want you selling sweets in the school. So I said, if I'm not selling them inside the school, I'll sell them outside the school. And they said, you know what? Let's come to an agreement. I'll donate X amount to charity. The school can take X amount as well, and it can go towards whatever it needs to be done, and then the rest of it is profit. So that was really like one of my first negotiations when I was in secondary school, in year 9, all the way up until year 11. I carried on selling sweets and Lucozades and expanding into different areas as well. I made my first 10K. So my mum had me when she was 17 years old. My dad, he was quite frequently in and out of jail, so I didn't get to see him as much as I wanted to. So I almost had to walk in my own path where I had to understand myself and learn from different people around me within my neighborhood. Then I moved with my grandparents, went to Buckinghamshire. So I already had a mindset of like someone that was like a hustler, being from the city and going to somewhere, it's a bit more of a countryside. So I already had an idea of how I can kind of take advantage of my surroundings. But what my grandparents taught me is being trustworthy, being honest, believing in yourself. You know, my nan poured into me a lot. She gave me a lot of self-belief. Without her, I don't think I would be able to conduct myself in the way that I do now. Because starting off as a kid, I had a speech impediment. So only up to the ages of maybe like 11 to 12 is when I first learned how to read and write. So sometimes if you hear me speak, I take pauses and gaps. The reasons why is because that's what I was taught. And then the reasons why I went into music is because the people that taught me how to speak properly, they told me to rhyme my words. I tried to rhyme, and if you can rhyme, then usually makes it easier to talk. So I started rhyming, and then I built a passion for music, and then I ended up just making music because music was my escape. It was something that gave me purpose. It was a case where I didn't feel uncomfortable with talking because I know if I rhyme my words in a certain way, it will come out properly. The reasons why I decided to move on from music and go into the area where I could be more professional is because music taught me loads of different fundamentals. And these are the key fundamentals that being a musician taught me. How to speak in front of a camera, how to be confident, how to communicate with people. With my network of music, I just realized that music wasn't for me. But with the network I had, I realized that the skills I had as well, understanding business, how to get myself in the right rooms, I could just reiterate and reapply those skills into the business sector, which is exactly what I did. I decided to drop out of university after 2 years, wasn't for me, and then fulfill my journey on creating an NFT project. So it was actually called Triple MC, Multi-Millionaire Martians Club. I got invited to speak at a conference called NFT NYC. So I said to myself, I'm going to go and find investment. I went on the internet and I learned. So I looked at how to set up financial projections, how to evaluate my company. We spoke to BlackRock, we spoke to Blackseed, Blackstone, Fabric Ventures, and a few other big VCs. And then during that time period when I was in New York, nobody was taking me in whatsoever. Like I sit down, be in front of the people and they wouldn't take me seriously because I'm just a young black entrepreneur. Like, what are you doing here in these rooms? But I managed to pitch them in a way where I can get their attention but not close them. So something very interesting took place on the plane journey from me going from London to JFK. I sat next to somebody, he listened to everything that I was saying, he said, my uncle would love you. Come to Trump's Tower, sit down with him, have a conversation and pitch exactly the same way you pitch on that stage. Prepared myself, had my black suit. This is the only black suit that I had. I got to Trump's Tower, went up in the lift, sat down in the guy's office/house, had a conversation with him, broke down exactly what we want to do. So I need 1.3 million. He said, don't worry, we'll allocate that to your business per milestones. What I need for you to do is to show me exactly what your background is, who your partners are, what your team looks like. Ran through all of that. He said it makes perfect sense. We'll deploy the first capital before the end of this month. And then I left with 1.3 million. And I'll be honest with you, this story almost seems in my head, it feels too good to be true. But the way that all took place, I could only say that that was God, because that wasn't dependent on my own strength. That was definitely the strength of God. So that's why I'm such a big faith-driven person, because without God, none of this stuff would be possible. For me, I believe what keeps me consistent is the fact that I know motivation is not the thing that's going to drive you to success. Consistency is. And when you're consistent, the only reason for you to be consistent is based on the level of discipline that you have. So I make sure that I have routines and systems put in place that enable me to be greater than what I could potentially be. And on the basis of this, I learn from other people's experiences, their failures, their success stories. Hence why I read a lot. Hence why I admire people like Ray Dalio, 50 Cent, other great entrepreneurs that I just follow their patterns, because it's a very, very strict system to how things work for people that desire to be great. Prime example, waking up early. Being up early before everybody else at 6 a.m. gives you an opportunity to be far more productive than another individual that may wake up at 8 o'clock. But what do you do during those time periods when you wake up at 6 a.m.? So I have a cold shower, freezing cold shower. Allows me to accept my first challenge in the morning. I've already had a cold shower. I completely hate it. I don't enjoy it, but I've accepted a challenge and I've overcome that challenge. So anything else that comes my way, I've already got a defense against it, because I've encountered challenges from 6 a.m. in the morning compared to somebody that woke up at 10 and just woke up, washed their face quickly and went out to work, and they get in traffic and now they're frustrated. And I also exercise as well. Helps you think beyond what it currently is. Like, for example, I'm pushing myself to different limits. So I'm doing 50 kg dumbbells on my chest. It's not something you see all the time, because people aren't that strong, but believe I'm that strong. It's just, not that I know I'm that strong physically, I just believe in my head that I'm that strong. So once again, accepting more challenges. But now it comes to being consistent within business. So how do I structure my day? I know what I'm doing from 6 a.m. when I wake up all the way up until the end of the day. So I have systems, dealing with clients and do research, educate myself. One may be on closing deals. I systemize my life to be consistent, but I do it in a way where I'm disciplined, because if I'm not disciplined, it will lack the consistency and the methodology behind what I'm trying to do. What losing £1 million taught me is not to trust anybody. No matter how they may tell you that, they have good intentions. At the same time, when you conduct business with people, make sure you always do your due diligence, because sometimes who you're working with is actually who you're working against. So always study and understand the industry that you're working in. Make sure you become well versed in it, up to a level where, for example, if somebody throws a question at you, you know it regardless. Know the backstories of the individuals that you're working with. Build a rapport, not just on what people are doing now, but on what they've previously done, because people can be deceiving you in this game, and it can lead to you losing a lot of money and creating bad relationships. Luckily for me, I'm always able to show the kindness. People never look at me in a certain perspective or a certain light. They always know that my intentions are pure. Raising capital for me, it means that, okay, cool, I've raised £8 million successfully. I provide opportunities for investors alongside myself. Now, how do I do it at a bigger scale? So I know, I've hit a certain level, so how do I kind of overcome that level and continue to keep doing more and more? And if anything, it just made me more passion driven. It's made me want to kind of network with new people, learn from other influential people as well that are within this space, and see how I can actually become as good as them or better than them in these particular areas. Because for me, I fully believe sky's the limit. And when you provide limitations to what it is that you do, all it's going to do is ruin the whole operation. I'll say the main thing I'm chasing right about now being out here in Dubai, hitting all these different milestones, is purpose. I feel like this is a place where it's the land of opportunity. It's where you can grow and expand into different horizons where you wouldn't be familiarized in like a place like the UK or the United States. Everybody's here. All the greatest people are here. And on top of that, the benefits for entrepreneurs here is remarkable. This is a part of the bigger plan. I feel like the end goal, something that I haven't yet figured out. I feel like my plan is far more bigger than what I could probably imagine it to be, because for me, everything changes every single day. For the next maybe like 5 to 10 years, I really do think Dubai is a great location for me to resign and be here and create more success over the years to come.